Arsenal finally getting it done after 22 years. Barcelona going back-to-back. Inter win their 21st Scudetto, and Bayern on top once again of the Bundesliga, with Paris Saint-Germain taking care of business in Liga as we would expect. But with no information, the producers have handed us a horrible assignment here. We don't know who the managers of some of these clubs are going to be. We don't know any of the transfer business, and yet we got to make our way too early predictions for next season in major European football. Who are going to win these major trophies next season? And we're going to start in the Premier League. Lahoud, good luck. Good luck with trying to figure out what any of these clubs are going to do. We don't know who the manager at Liverpool is yet. There's so many. We don't know who the manager of Manchester City is yet.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the league next season?
Look, I know that we have a lot of Arsenal fans who follow our network, who follow our socials.
Who work at our network?
Here at our network. I was clearly in a state of delirium, or maybe I'm seeing something in the future. But the team that's closest ready and ready to make a challenge next season is Manchester United. When you look at their body of work right now, I know you just looked at me like I have gray dreadlocks, but that's just me. The fact that we don't know who some of the managers.
Manchester United to win the league next season.
Manchester United to push them to win the league.
We talk about fans of the network, Lahoud.
Oh, come on, don't help me.
These sounds like the delusions of a Manchester United.
Yeah.
You think they can win? That's a big step. Look, other than Amorim making it work in the first half of the season, he gets let go. Michael Carrick takes over. There's another level to go up here in terms of going from being a team that plays once a week. Michael Carrick got them on side. So he's got to build a squad, continue to add to it, to take the step forward and win the thing. What makes you confident they can do it?
The summer transfer window, getting it right for back-to-back windows, that's going to be the thing that drives it forward. We don't know what's going to happen in this window. And the big just X factor is the fact that United finally got a summer window right. We saw Benjamin Sesko. We saw the front two, Mateus Cunha. We also saw Brian Mbeumo come through the doors. There are some massive moves they still need to make. Hearing names like Sandro Tonali link with the club. If you get a Sandro Tonali, you get maybe two more signings in that back line. Harry Maguire is getting older. Maybe another center back.
You didn't mention Sonny Lemons either as a goalkeeper. Finally, they seem like they have that position figured out as well.
Yeah, so just the prospect of what might be has me in cuckoo land and just dreaming big things for United. But in all realistic, just reality, it's Arsenal's title to lose once again. They are the best team in England.
Okay, so I agree with you. I think Arsenal, as the only team that are maintaining continuity season upon season, seem like the most obvious choice. I've gone for Liverpool to win the Premier League next season.
That's a good shout.
Because I think, let's be clear, the players that they brought in last summer are not bad players. It just didn't come together. It didn't coalesce. Obviously, everything that happened in the preseason, I think what loomed over them with Diogo Jota loomed over them for most of the season. They couldn't quite get past it. The manager pays for it with his job. If it is to be Andoni Iraola restoring that heavy metal football, I can see, again, it has to be with the right signings. They got to figure it out. Probably in central midfield and central defense with Konate departing. They have to figure out the issue that I think they have at right back with Jeremy Frimpong not really being a right back in a four. Who is the right player to play in that position? And then maybe even the goalkeeper position could potentially turn over. I think, though, if we're looking at the bare bones of a team, the squad that is there, I just feel like this group with Liverpool can get to the stage where they can compete for a championship yet again. That last year was the blip, and they get right back to it. I think with the right coach and the right kind of mix in the summer, I think they're, of any of the other candidates, you look at Manchester City, Enzo Maresca taking over. Obviously, the looming penalties with the Chargers are still there. You have Spurs that I think are a long way off. You look at Chelsea, I think are a long way off. Maybe Xabi Alonso can get things right. Of any of the clubs I think have the bounce-back ability to get into the title race, I think it's going to be Liverpool.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a very different Virgil van Dijk. And I don't think Virgil van Dijk was as bad as sometimes he looked, but also he's getting older and he needs help around him. So I think it's a strong shout.
Okay, so neither of us have gone for Arsenal. I imagine their fans will be pleased in the comment section. Let's go then to La Liga, and of course your three obvious choices. You got Barca, you got Real, you got Atleti. If you want to go off the board, feel free, but who have you gone for?
It's Barcelona or bust. It's Barcelona literally or bust. And I think the other bust side is Real Madrid. I don't see it with Real Madrid. There's a cultural issue. There's just a chemistry issue, and there's a Jose Mourinho factor, which isn't the same X factor as it once was. I just don't see it changing in La Liga, given just at the end of that season, this past season, players like a Gavi coming in, for me, and just in my opinion, I think we're seeing the Spanish national team midfield of the future potentially with Gavi and the likes of Pedri running the show in the middle of the park. They're young players, La Masia, and you did a piece on this, which I actually thought was really on the money. The power of La Masia is going to just propel Barcelona into just this dynasty in domestic football in Spain, and the likes we've never seen before for me. Hansi Flick has a well-oiled machine. I know that their golden goose is the UEFA Champions League, but as long as they keep the number of players they have, the quality players they have healthy, if they can be just a little bit more adaptable to that high line and that back line, obviously some of the players that they're linked with already, Anthony Gordon coming in, which I'm really intrigued to see how he fits in with this team. And should they get the business done to the back line, which they definitely need to do, Real Madrid and Barcelona, it's just one class here and the other class here. They're miles apart right now.
I agree. In terms of consistent level of performance, Barcelona bring it every week. Real Madrid, of course, can bring it on the big nights. They can bring it in the Champions League. But I agree with you that I think it is going to be Barcelona again for another season. And I think Real Madrid have gotten this managerial appointment desperately wrong. And you can come back maybe in the comment section in a year's time and go, you sound like a moron. Jose Mourinho is a special one. He's won all these trophies down the years. He's qualified a team for the Champions League once since 2015.
Wow.
Once since 2015. That's as the manager of Spurs, as a manager of Roma, as a manager of Fenerbahce, and most recently as a manager of Benfica. I just don't think he's at the highest of high levels anymore. And I appreciate everything that he's done for the game. I think they have gotten this appointment desperately wrong. And for Atleti, at some point, they're going to have to bang down the doors and really compete at a high level. But until they do it, I'm not going to pick them. I think they're going to keep spending money. I think they're going to keep going for it in the summer transfer window. But until I see them actually get anywhere close, which they haven't been in the last few years, I'm not going to pick that. Let's move on then to Serie A. Serie A is the league in the last 6 years in which the championship winner has changed most year upon year. There hasn't been back-to-back winners since you go back to Juventus in the 2010s. Do we see Inter going back-to-back?
The team that's closest to knocking them off their perch, just for me personally, and depending on the moves that they were ambitious in making in January and in the summer, is Roma. It's a less chaotic team right now. I think there's quality there. Daniel Malin, it'd be interested to see what he does in season 2, having a full season. But Inter, they are the standard right now in Italian football. And the quality of players like Federico Di Marco, just the ruthlessness of players like Lauti and Marcus Thuram, and also a Lauti that missed a ton of games this past season, the recruitment that they did from last summer to even now, that was what made it so difficult for teams to live with them. The fact that you can have a 20-year-old come from the academy and look like a boss, look like he belongs with the first team, they're a scary good team. And I would just love to see them get back to the standard that they set with Simone Inzaghi in European football. That's the next level for them. I just think that Serie A right now, there's just so much disarray, so much uncertainty with too many clubs.
Yeah, this really for me was process of elimination. Napoli, if they're going to bring in Massimiliano Allegri, no chance. Milan are in complete disarray with what they have done in terms of getting rid of everyone. I don't really know what their plan is for the future. They're going to have to get this right in one summer. I don't think that's possible. You look at, obviously, Juve. Juve had a rotten end to the season, missing out on the Champions League, incredibly up and down. Maybe Spalletti can figure things out. I think without the Champions League money, they can't do it. Roma, I don't see it. Como, I don't see it. I just see Inter as going back-to-back. All right, then, let's move to the Bundesliga. I mean, these are the two leagues in which it's impossible to see any other option besides Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's literally Bayern Munich for possibly the next decade, given that, yes, Harry Kane's getting older, but he's like Benjamin Button. The older he gets, the better he gets. He scores 61 goals, man. It's ridiculous, but he didn't.
The team scored 122.
That's what scares me with Bayern, is that they scored 122 goals. They smashed the Bundesliga goal-scoring record that seemed like it was never going to be broken for a long time. And it's a Bayern side that is just set up to compete for the present and also to dominate for years to come and dominate for the future. Leonard Carl is going to get better and better. They played majority of the season without Jamal Musiala.
Yeah.
And they almost went to the Champions League final for me and domestically ran away with the league. So a Bayern Munich side that's going to continue to evolve and get better under Vincent Kompany is a scary Bayern side. I'm going to make just a 2026, 2027 prediction. Bayern, should they get the business done that they need to get done, still adjust to the back line, they're going to win the Bundesliga. It could be another record that they break with the Bundesliga. I think Bayern's going to push for the treble next season. They're one or two
Are they going
pieces
to push
away.
or are they going to do it?
I think they get it done.
Okay.
They're one or two
I can
pieces,
completely see it.
one or two pieces away from being that team that can beat any team, anywhere, anytime. And I think when they get that business done, especially to the back line, they're going to be the formidable force. They're going to set the standard that PSG has set over the last 2 seasons.
I agree with you. Bayern as well. I also think you see a shortage of other contenders. Leverkusen had pull off something special. They did not follow it up with the right appointment managerially or in terms of the players that they signed. And I think Borussia Dortmund is miles off as well. We go to Liga. I think PSG, if anyone was going to get them, it was this past season when they're rotating the entire year. They're dropping results here and there, but Marseille dropped the ball, Lyon dropped the ball, Monaco dropped the ball. Can any of these teams give more of a challenge next season?
No, because there's a coaching carousel happening in Liga right now. You think of Lille, Bruno Genesio. He's gone. He's at the beach waiting for his next job. Pierre Sage could be the next Crystal Palace manager. Congrats to you, Pierre. You really deserve that one since Oliver Glasner left. If there was ever a time to see a different winner in Liga, this was the season for that. Lens and their lack of depth and maybe their lack of experience and the burnout trying to push for Coupe de France caught up with them. They had to pick which one do we go for. They got Champions League football, which is a big boost for them financially, but ultimately they got the big prize, which is getting a trophy for them, the club's first ever Coupe de France trophy. The thing that scares me for PSG when it comes to domestic football is this was a season that I think was the biggest beneficiary to the likes of Seny Mayulu, who played a ton of minutes, who's going to get better, and Ibrahim Mbaye, who we're going to see for Senegal for years to come. We covered him for the African Cup of Nations. Those two players, alongside Warren Zaire-Emery, who's also young and had a redemptive season, just keeping an eye on that core. I think they're the core of the future alongside Desiree Doué for PSG, and they're going to have this vice grip continued in Liga.
The one thing that I think you think about, though, with PSG, and this is crazy, they didn't really spend much last summer. They haven't really spent a lot of money. You wonder if they turn any of it over, because it was the same 10 outfield players that started back-to-back Champions League finals. And Matvei Safonov, is he going to continue to be the number one, or do they try again after they got it wrong with Chevalier this past summer? So I think that's the only thing that maybe can change. But I actually think this next season they'll be a little bit stronger, despite the fact that I imagine a lot of their players will go to the end in the World Cup. But I can see PSG dominating again in Liga, going all the way to the semifinals and potentially even another final of the UEFA Champions League. So those are our predictions for next season. Get involved in the comments section if you're watching on YouTube.